Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. So I'm really upset that I skipped a week. I completely skipped a week, and I have been consistent for 5 months, and so I was really kind of bummed that I skipped last week, but I just couldn't, and I'm back home for Christmas right now, and which led me to make this video because I decided to travel with my mountain bike for the first time, and I learned a lot of things about traveling with my bike, and it really just came about really quickly. That's why it stressed me out, and I should have planned it more, but I didn't, and I just last minute I was like, I'm going to bring my bike home. So I wanted to share with you guys how I, flew with my mountain bike for the very first time. If you guys maybe have never done this or, thinking about doing this in the future, I just wanted to share my experiences. So hopefully this video is able to shed some light on all that. For starters, I was really torn. I did so much research because my main thing was, of course it's everyone's main thing. I've heard so many horror stories about bikes getting destroyed on planes and everything like that. And I went back and forth so much. I literally, guys, probably one night in particular, I probably spent 2 hours trying to figure out if I should go with a hard shell case or if I should go with a soft case. And there's so many pros and cons really between both of them. And especially just from my research that I've done, it comes down to, it doesn't really matter. And it doesn't matter what kind of case you have, like things can happen. And a lot of people were saying with soft cases, it's treated as a fragile item. So therefore, the crew and everything, they're supposed to handle it, as a fragile item, of course. But then with hard cases and everything like that, it's not marked as fragile, so it's thrown, it's, beaten to death. And so therefore people have said that hard shelled cases, it didn't work out for them. But then again, it's, happened on the flip side too. So it really just comes down to, I guess, just preference and what works best for you. So I ended up choosing a soft case because of the storage. And I think that is the number one thing is, are you gonna have a place to store this? And so for me personally, I didn't want to have to store this massive bike case because these things are huge. I believe mine's about 53 inches, give or take, I forget, something around there, but it's a massive bag. And so I didn't want to have to store something that I couldn't compress down and be stuck with it. So that's why I went with the soft case, just because I would have an easier time storing it. So also, guys, I had no idea how much bike cases cost. They are pretty pricey. I thought I was going to be spending like, maybe a little over $100 max. No, you're talking about hundreds for a lot of these. And so I feel like I got a pretty, I think it's beyond decent. It's a solid bag. It's good. I wouldn't say it's even decent, it's good. But just the price points on all these crazy bags are insane, especially the hard cases too. They do tend to go up higher in price range. I think you're kind of looking between $300 to $400 to $900 is kind of the range for these cases. You can't find anything for hardly under $200. And so therefore they're pretty pricey. And I had no idea about this until I really started researching into everything. So I ended up going with the Evoc, and I'll put the link down below if you guys want to check it out. Of course, I bought it on Amazon, where everyone buys everything, it seems like nowadays. But I bought it on Amazon, and it has just wonderful reviews, and it's supposed to be just an amazing bag. I have a medium-sized frame with 27.5 wheels, so this fits my bike perfectly. I don't really have much more room. I don't know if you could put a 29er in here or not. The wheels probably wouldn't work out. I'm not sure. I wouldn't guarantee it, but this bag fits my bike like a dream. It's really great. So when I was purchasing this, I was really concerned about padding, because this is something that I really want to make sure is very, very well padded, and also has a frame. A lot of these cases that you can get, they don't have an extra framing around the bag for the soft cases, so it tends to fall down and it's not as secure and everything like that. This case right here comes with piping, so you can reinforce where the wheels are, as well as, of course, the whole bag itself is very well made. It actually shocked me because I don't know, I was thinking the worst, I think. So I was thinking I was going to get this kind of like puny bag that wasn't going to have any padding or anything like that. I really honestly didn't know what to expect, and I had no one to ask about this because none of my friends mountain bike or anything like that, so I was kind of in the dark on this, just buying it off a whim, based upon reviews and everything like that and the research that I've done. But it's very, very well made. It's tough, it's very durable, and I just really love all the padding that it has to offer inside of the bag. Not to mention there's a lot of zippers and things like that. When you are traveling with a mountain bike, you want to make sure you are removing the rotors and things like that, and a lot of times, especially from people that I've heard packing up their bikes and keeping their parts and everything that they've taken off their bikes and just thrown in the bag. A lot of times they've said they've lost parts and so forth, so it's really great that it has so many zipper compartments in the bag itself. For me personally though, and I'll get to that in a minute, I still stored everything like that separately just because I'm super paranoid about things, and especially for my first time I wanted to make sure that was all very safe and sound and nothing was going to get lost, and then I come home and I'm having to go to the bike shop because I don't have parts because they're missing. So I was just paranoid about that, so I kept everything like that separate. The bag's also great because it has a bunch of ties and everything in there, so everything is very secure. Your handlebars are secure. Just the frame itself it's not moving in that bag. And it also has a platform for the bottom where your frame can sit, and your chain ring isn't pressing down on anything. It's kind of hanging off, so that was nice too. Now into actually taking apart my bike, packing it in here, and also flying with the bike and what to expect with all that. So it probably took me about an hour to disassemble everything. Tools that you're going to need is definitely a multi-tool. I can't stress that enough. If you guys don't have a multi-tool, I mean, you need to get one. It's very key, and it's just great because that's mostly, at least for my bike personally, that's pretty much the only tool I need to disassemble and assemble everything on my bike. With the exception of one thing, a pedal spanner, and it depends on what kind of pedals you have. For me, I don't have pedals where I can use an Allen wrench, so I need pedal spanners. So that's another thing. It depends on the airline. For my airline, I flew American Airlines, and they allow you to fly with your pedals still on your bike as long as you have them wrapped. So I bubble wrapped my pedals inside of my case just to make sure, you know, just to make sure it met all the rules and regulations and I wouldn't have any issues. Like I said, I don't want to run into any problems whatsoever. I didn't have time to go out and buy a pedal spanner to get my pedals off because I was packing this, guys, like such last minute. Probably like midnight I started this packing journey when I had a flight I had to get up at 3 a.m. So it was a fun night. It was a really fun night. And everything else I could just easily disassemble with my multi-tool, so I was good there. So one thing with the airline you're going to see is you have to, the rules for this, so you have a free checked bag, but it cannot be over 62 inches width and height. So that's one thing that I misunderstood, just total. It couldn't be over 62 inches. Differs for each airline, but if it's over that, then it is of course an oversized bag. So for me, I had to pay an additional $150 to transport it one way. So coming back home, I'll have to pay another $150. It's also something to keep in mind if you guys Uber or anything like that, you're probably going to have to get an Uber XL. So that costs me, again, it depends on where you are in comparison. I live in Los Angeles, so I had to pay like an additional $90 to get to the airport with this bag just because I couldn't take a regular Uber to the airport because this thing is so massive. So that's just another thing to consider as far as cost goes. Those were the biggest costs for me, and just purchasing the bike bag itself. The bike bag itself, I paid about almost $400 for it. And again, it depends. Mine is so bright and vibrant that I believe it was maybe like $30 less than some of the other bags. Again, it just depends on what bike bag you get in their line. But as far as that, when I actually got to the airport, luckily I'm not having to go all throughout the airport with this bag because it is a really big bag and it's hard to maneuver. I mean, the bag's great, but it's just in general, it's hard to maneuver around with something that big. And the only downside I would say about this bag is it is kind of hard rolling it because like nylon handle up top, and it has a bunch of handles all over it, which is great because you can just literally grab wherever you need to grab on it, and I find that really helpful. But just the handle itself, it's kind of hard because I find myself having to pull my arm way up just to drag it across the floor, where I wish the handle might have been easier if it was located a little bit down lower on the bag. But again, that's just me. All in all, it was a pretty easy-ish experience. Definitely, I would suggest giving yourself time, of course, to pack everything up. And sure, now with me traveling more and more with it, because I'm definitely going to be traveling more now that I have this bag, I think it is a great investment if you're one that maybe is wanting to travel more with your bike. It's great just to go ahead and invest in a bag like that. That way you already have it and you're good to go. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys have ever traveled with your bike, how that went. Do you guys have any horror stories? I probably shouldn't hear this before I fly back. And I will see you guys in my next video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And bye, guys.